And also look at the route to of National Road Safety Authority and free to renewal in relationship to road transport services. Ladies and gentlemen, today my task here is simple: to share with you some of the key developmental initiatives and also to stimulate discussion on issues pertaining to the ministry. In the maritime inland waterways, at my last appearance, I gave an update on development within the maritime sector, particularly expansion works at the two seaports, the coastal fish landing site and fishing ports project. I am happy to report that we have achieved major breakthrough at the Takoradi Port construction works on a 16-meter draft dry bulk terminal equipped with the state-of-the-art highly performing ship loaders and one eco hopper, designed with a loading speed of 2,500 tons per hour, was completed and commissioned last year by His Excellency the President. This new terminal is a vast improvement compared to what existed previously, which had a loading speed of less than 400 tons per hour. The equipment that has been installed can deliver 20 million tons per annum, but can also handle at least 30 million tons per annum if necessary. This means that the port can take advantage of larger volumes and ultimately generate more revenue for the country. Ladies and gentlemen, as part of the strategic development of the Takoradi Port, construction work has also been completed on the multipurpose container terminal. This terminal will also receive deep drafted vessels, which otherwise could not have been possible due to draft limitations. Additionally, the construction of oil and gas services terminal to accommodate oil and gas services providers, fabrication companies, exploration companies, and suppliers has also been commissioned. The sword cutting ceremony was performed by His Excellency the President in December 2022. The project, when completed, will provide 21 hectares of serviced terminal area, 550-meter primary quay wall, a 10-meter draft and 40-meter quay wall apron for terminal operations. Ladies and gentlemen, government agenda of building the third commercial seaport at Keta in the Volta region is progressing steadily. Following the completion of the feasibility study and market sounding event, the following activities have taken place. 1, advert for investor expression of interest was published last August and closed in December 2022. 20 firms, local and international, responded to the advert, out of which 16 of them were further engaged for concept clarification. Out of this, 6 firms have so far been shortlisted and will be invited to the next stage of request for proposal. This process is expected to take a couple of months. Therefore, by November, December this year, the qualified investor would have been selected for the construction to commence latest by January 2024. From the feasibility study, ladies and gentlemen, Keta Port will be operated as a landlord port where the public authority will not handle cargo, but will be a regulator only. Private sector operators will develop and operate the various terminals and handle vessels and cargoes. Therefore, government is expected to make basic investment, including administration building, to house the port authority and other port service operators. For this reason, While the request for proposal is ongoing, Ghana Port and Harbours Authority is to commence the building of the administrative block by January 2023. It may be recalled that in 2020, His Excellency the President cut the sword for the construction of the Bonkra Integrated Logistics Terminal. I'm happy to report that the Phase 1 works have reached about 30% complete. The completion of this project will help decongest the port and bring import and export services closer to the doorsteps of shippers in the middle and northern part of our country, as well as neighboring landlocked countries. Ladies and gentlemen, with respect to the fishing port, construction works at Jamestown is about 60% complete, while that of Elmina, which includes facilities such as 2 new breakwaters, a new quay wall of total length of 400 meters, a new administration building, a new fish market, a new fish net mending hall and workshop building, fishermen's arboration facility and public toilet, paving at the castle, access road and parking, among others, is fully completed. I'm just liaising with His Excellency for the commission, and it should be, I'm sure, by the end of April, the new fishing port at Emina will be commissioned. In addition to the above, construction work on coastal fish landing site project at 12 locations, namely Axim and Discoff in Western Region, Muri, Manford, Ekumfi in Infanteman, Winiba, Senyabreku, Gumwafete, and Komanzi in Central Region, Teshi and Osu in Greater Accra Region, and Keta in Volta Region are all nearing completion. This is in addition to other complementary and community-led infrastructure projects such as fish smoking pavilion, head post, classroom block, toilet facilities, and drainage interventions, among the others, have all been completed. Ladies and gentlemen, the challenge that confronted the artisanal fishing industry prior to this development included poor fish landing facilities, inadequate storage facilities, high post-harvest losses, unhygienic conditions, and poor handling of fish. This project will enable us to address these challenges to support the growth of the fishing industry, create job opportunities, and help build vibrant communities along the coast. In the aviation sector, ladies and gentlemen, it may be recalled that during my last appearance, I made mention of government intervention to develop a new airport in either central or western region or in between the two regions. The feasibility study to determine a suitable location to develop the airport is being finalized. On the Kumasi Airport, we are upgrading it to an international status and it's also nearing completion. A new passenger terminal and auxiliary facilities capable of handling about 1 million passengers annually has been completed. The Phase 3 works, which include aero bridges, is also about 89% complete. As part of the upgrade, the existing runway is being extended from 1,981 meters to 2,300 meters to accommodate wide-bodied aircraft. At the Tamale Airport, the expansion works, which included the construction of a new terminal building, a multi-purpose terminal and access road connecting the airport to Tamale-Bogatanga Highway, have been completed. The terminal is currently undergoing operational readiness and airport transfer to technically assess the readiness of the facility for flight operation. And I can also assure you, in the next 2 months, the Tamale Airport terminal will be commissioned. Furthermore, the Sunyani rehabilitation works have been completed and is operational. Phase 2, which will see the existing runway extended to a length of 1,900 meters, and remodeling of the terminal will soon commence. On the road transport services, ladies and gentlemen, in the area of road safety, provisional figures put the total number of reported crashes, injuries, and fatalities as of December 2022 at 14,960, 15,690, and 2,373, respectively. This represents a reduction of 7.55, 1.54, and 20.1% as recorded in the year 2021. For January and February this year, provisional figures compared to same period last year shows that 15.35, 8.27%, and 31.5% reduction in crashes, injuries, and fatalities. These reductions are as a result of the ongoing interventions aimed at halving the road fatalities by year 2030. Some of the interventions include: 1, institutional strengthening of National Road Safety Authority to enable them ensure compliance to road safety measures, policies, and guidelines, as well as regulate the commercial and transport services operators. 2, nationwide campaign that stay alive. 3, pre-departure checks at major lorry stations or terminals. Road safety education and awareness programs in schools, churches, mosques, and lorry terminals, among others. Last but not the least, joint enforcement activities with the Motor Traffic and Transport Department of Ghana Police Service and the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Authority. Ladies and gentlemen, although the statistics are not that best, it shows that we are doing something right, and also to remind ourselves that we need to do more to improve the road safety situation. A life lost has direct impact on our families. I want, therefore, to take this opportunity to encourage stakeholders to step up effort to minimize the crashes on our roads, since road safety is a shared and collective responsibility. Ladies and gentlemen, in respect of public transport services, in fulfillment of government policies to support public and private transport operators to renew their fleet, contracts were signed for a total of 100 VDL intercity buses, for which first batch of 45 have been delivered and is operational by MMTL, that's Metro Mass Transit Limited. The remaining 45 buses are expected to be delivered by June 2023. Arrangements are also underway to bring in additional buses to augment existing fleet of public and private sector transport operators. I believe that with your support, we can collectively improve the transport system and make it safe, reliable, and efficient, and sustainable, and cost-effective for all of us. I thank you for your attention, and I hope there will be no questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. I believe today's presentation was so rich, and I'm happy we didn't have to talk about challenges. But, Minister mentioned real development in terms of infrastructure within the maritime and inland waterways, also aviation as well as road transport. I was really excited about the Keta Seaport project, because especially when they've not gotten to a point where you can actually see vertical development, people think nothing is being done about it. But as Minister mentioned, a lot has been done. Advert for investor expression of interest has been done. Minister mentioned that 20 investors expressed interest, and that number further dropped to 16, and 6 have been shortlisted, and they've gotten to a stage where it's now time for requests for proposals. Minister also mentioned that they are commencing the construction of an administration block. One other thing that Minister really needs commendation for is the kind of landscape we now have at our coastal areas. Minister mentioned the construction of 12 fishing harbors and landing sites, including the completion of the Elmina Fishing Harbor and the Jamestown Fishing Harbor at 60% completion. He also mentioned some other areas which include Axim, Dixcove, Mori, Manford, Otuam, Fanseman, Winneba, Senyabreku, Teshi, and Osu. And I was so excited that you were able to project some pictures for people to see what's actually happening on the ground. And Minister, this is very important because the extent of pollution will be largely reduced when we have this infrastructure at our coastal areas and people are able to access amenities such that they don't have to do the open defecation, they don't have to dump into the sea. It will go a long way to impact our nation positively beyond even what the transport sector intended for it to do. And finally, Minister mentioned some very wonderful projects they've done within the aviation sector. He mentioned that the Kumasi International Airport, I'm talking about international airport, not as in signpost, but the fact that the actual infrastructure have been, put on the ground so that they will meet the standards that are required anywhere else in the world. He mentioned that the phase 2 is 100% completed, and also the phase 3 is now at 89.33%. With respect to the Tamale Airport expansion, Minister mentioned that it includes a terminal building and also road construction connecting the Tamale-Bolga Road. And finally, on the rehabilitation of the Sunyani Airport, Minister mentioned that it's completed and operational. And I'm a witness to that because for over 6 years, since 2016 really, you could not fly to Sunyani because of how deplorable the terminal and other facilities are. And we thank God the rehabilitation is completed. I have seen even commercial flights go to Sunyani, which is a reflection of all the wonderful things that Honorable Minister yourself and your team within the sector have been doing. So thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, on that note, we will invite your questions. If you have any question, this is the best time to ask. You show by hand, you mention your name and affiliation, and then proceed to ask your question. Okay, Nana, and then Mr. Atta. If I see any lady, I will prioritize that. I will elect to call you first. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Thank you, Atta Minister from GNA. Yeah, I want to commend the Minister for that precise presentation. I believe that 12 fishing harbors and landing beach that government undertaking is very laudable. And I want to find out whether there are fishing harbors that are in operation, that are fully in operation, and how they are being managed. Because sometimes government invests in such facilities so that it can recoup the investment it made. But at the end of the day, we don't get the needed management to get that money back. So we want to find out how those ones that are in operation are faring in terms of revenue generation. Thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Yes. Good morning, Honorable Minister. I want to touch on intracity transport. Most workers and people take trotro to and fro as their only means of transportation. What I've seen and realized is that some of these cars, especially the sprinter buses, the seats are so compact to the extent that the least break get people's limbs breaking. I've made complaint of this thing for a very long time, so many times. I don't know whether they worked with DAVLA, the Ghana police, because if you sit in the bus, your knees are almost on your chest. So the slightest accident, that's why we have so many fatalities on the roads, because I don't know why the police and the DAVL have allowed people to do their own thing, because when you ask them, so we give them 19 seats and then 23, I don't know whose responsibility it is. And then my second question, Honorable Minister, when are we going to have the buses? Now we know that Metro Miles and IRL are in distress. I don't know. We need them, because those of us who cannot afford our own V8s and things like that, we need those buses to commute. And how can you promise the country that maybe in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years, we're going to have those this now back on the roads? My last question, Honorable Minister, are we going to have, like, we have Ghana Airways? Please, we had Ghana Airways. That was the symbol of Ghana's distance. This time we don't have our own airplane. Are we going to have it back into the system anytime soon? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Sarah, please, let's keep the questions at maximum 2 questions.
Yes. My name is Sarah Penkrai, I report for TV3 News. I would like to find out from the Minister the issue with the water transport. I mean, in recent times we've had accidents on the lakes, the recent Uti, Ada. I believe it has come to his attention. Aside the human errors that happen, it appears in recent times it's recurring. I don't know what the ministry would try to do about it, especially with the overloading of the boats. And I also want to find out, the National Road Safety Authority says it's going to ban many urban buses from long distance journeys to reduce the road carnage. And you mentioned that you are encouraging stakeholders to step up measures to ensure road carnages are reduced. Do you support this particular intervention? Because the concerned drivers have stood up against it, that there are other factors that are causing road accidents and not the buses. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. We can take 2 more questions. Okay, please. Okay.
My name is Della Russell. I work with Deligraphy.
Okay.
Minister spoke extensively about the Keta Port project, and he made mention about the construction of an office complex at the moment. So if we should go there today, are we likely to see physical construction regarding the administration office? The administration office that he spoke about. Are we likely to, considering the apprehension and the surrounding this particular project? And he also made mention of the commencement of construction by the end of this year. You said you've shortlisted 6 organizations for expression of interest. We are in March.
No, that has been done already.
That
he
has
says
been
request
done.
for proposals.
Request for proposals. So within what period are we going to analyze those proposals to look at the funding arrangement, where the money is coming from to get this, the timeline he's set out for the physical construction? And then also my second question.
Can we keep the questions at 2, please?
Yes, please. And my second question is on MMT. For how long do we continue to throw in money into a venture that doesn't look as if it's not profitable? Is there a way we could turn around, bring in a sort of privatization into the business to kind of step up the present condition that exists to turn the company around? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I saw a hand over there. Last one, please.
Yes, my name is Salong Babiji from the Finder newspaper. Before this administration came to power, the previous administration had ensured that there were buses on the road in the form of Alulu carting people and goods to and fro. In recent times, they seem to be in some distress. Alulu are not really moving. If you go to where I live, there's a terminal, but there are no buses there. People stand by the roadside from 6 a.m. till 10. There are no trottoirs. People are struggling to transport themselves to and fro. So, as a ministry, what are you doing to ensure that the Alulu is essentially revived to give us some decent form of transportation, because the trotro really are not working. If you pick trotro today, your feet, the seating in trotro is terrible. The conditions of vehicles that operate as trotro are terrible. So what are you doing to ensure that we have decent forms of transportation, particularly Ayalulu, on the roads to ensure that we have a good transport experience?
Okay, thank you for the questions. I will now invite Honorable Minister for his response.
Okay, thank you very much. If I quite remember, the first question was, who is going to handle the operations of the fishing port? Is that not so? Yes. Yeah, thank you very much. I said that we are building 2 additional fishing ports outside the 12 coastal land fishing port. In this country, GPHA has a mandate to manage all the fishing ports. That's why they are managing the Takrade and the secondary fishing port. But I also said that the Emina fishing port is completed, but we have not commissioned it. It means that we need to commission before we can operate. So, per the regulatory framework, GPHA will be responsible for the operations of the Emina fishing harbor as they are operating the Tama and secondary one. For the fishing line size, the assemblies are supposed to be responsible. So the ones that they are using, the assemblies are operating them, but GPHA is also guiding them in terms of how the operational thing. Like I agree with you, that our government takes so much to build infrastructure. Now, at the end of the day, its maintenance becomes a problem. So I've tagged GPHA that they should be in constant discussion with the various assemblies to make sure that these facilities are maintained and maintained well. For the comfortability of intercity buses, because yes, everybody knows that the trotro, the space are not enough, but I'm sure that DVLA is coming out with a regulation, because some of these buses, or they bring them as cargo, then they cut and fit their own seating. So DVLA, per their new LI, is bringing a regulation to make sure that there's enough space in this trotro. Because I think we need to be very candid with ourselves. 95% of public transport in this country are being handled by the private sector. So the private sector is so key that whatever regulations or measures that we need to put in place, we have to make sure that they provide better service for our people. Government, MMT, STC contribute less than even 2% of the operations of this public transport. So DVLA is coming out with guidelines together with National Road Safety to make sure that the spaces are enough to enable them. At least comfort is key. You cannot sit from here to Kumasi with your legs. By the time that you get there, your legs will be like crab or koto. You cannot even stretch it. So I think that your point is very well, and I think it's something that DVLA and National Road Safety is looking at it. GhanaWeb, it will fly again. I think government took a decision to join the private sector to make sure that we have a national carrier. I can tell you that, you see, in some of these matters, it is not an event, it's a process that we need to go through. And I think that I've realized that in this country, anytime that one's come out to say that our government is doing it, they want to see it tomorrow. Yes, I want to, I think the enthusiasm is there, but it is not possible. We need to go through the processes. Even procurement alone, even going through the system, we need to, if you jump one, you cannot. It's going to be a problem. But so far, I can tell you that the proponent have done so well. Madam Chief Director was just whispering into my ears that they've gone through all the processes, because they needed to go through the processes. GCL and GCA, the regulator had to make sure that it is well grounded. And Mr. Charles Kweku told me the other day that they certified all the requirements. They are going to launch their logo. My information from them is that by the end of April or May, they will start selling their tickets. And by June, July, you see a national airline, Ghana Airlines, flying in the sky. Inshallah, it shall be well. Okay. Then water transport. Madam, accident is accident. And I think that we don't pray for accident to happen. But I think what I can say is that so far, since the time we took office, we have done well in terms of safety regulations on the water lake. My information is that the accident that occurred on the lake is not by government infrastructure, but the private sector ones that they use. I think the National Ghana Maritime Authority, in conjunction with the Navy, are the ones who are responsible for the safety on the water lake. And at times, some of these things do happen. So the last time that this thing happened, I think that I called a meeting between the two agencies that they need to make sure that at least they increase their petrol system on the lake, because at times they close, and when they close, some of these traditional canoe operators don't follow the rules order. They don't. My information is that they don't operate 24 hours. So I've told them that if possible, they can do a 24-hour operation. The Navy is asking me to buy them an additional speed boat so that they can do, but you will see. It's unfortunate. But I think that so far, in terms of regulation and infrastructure, Ghana Maritime Authority have done so well, but there's still the need for improvement, and I'm sure that going forward, they will take cognizance of the lapses in terms of what is happening to make sure that they fill in. And I have no doubt in my mind that they will be able to do that. National Road Safety Authority to ban, you say you are going to ban what? On what basis are you going to ban them? I want to know. Are you going to ban them that they shouldn't operate beyond certain hours? Okay. But per the law, do you have that power to do that? The new LI. Okay. That is good. And I think that we are developing this country together. And if it is that we need to take certain measures to protect our people, I need the support of the media in the course of this thing too, for you to support them. I'm sure people will come out, they will complain. But if it is that that's the decision we need to take to protect lives, I think that let's support them. When they try to institute such regulation, please support them, and let's make sure you protect our people. The Keta, Madam Daily Graphic, I wasn't surprised when you asked, because your interest in the development of port activities. In my narrative, I said that per the visibility studies that came out, the functions or roles were segregated. We don't want to do the dual role port again, the hybrid, whereby the port authorities become at the same time service operators and they conflict each other. So we want to start a new model. It is not new, but in Ghana it is new, that the port authorities become only a landlord operator and allow the private sector, what we call the Antwerp model, to build their own terminals and operate it. So the feasibility study came out that it is going to be viable. In the view of that, the government has certain duties or functions to perform. One of them is the construction of the administrative building. I know that government are taking a flag for this Keta port, but we are not deterred. Like I've said many times that in building a port is not an event, it's a process. I think that we have done so well. I have no shame. It takes courage for you to do what we are doing. But for where we've gotten to, June, July this year, GPHA will start the construction of the administrative building. That is what I said. So if you go there today, you will not see any building. But that does not mean that we are not building it. In the marine works, a lot takes place before you see the physical infrastructure. June, July this year, the construction of the administrative building will commence. And let me add that GPHA has made the money available. But I will not tell you, because if I mention them, when their creditors will chase them, because they owe, they will say that if we have this money sitting down and you are not paying us. Or Mark, I should mention the amount. I shouldn't. Yes. If I mention, his creditors will chase him. But, madam, I'm sure that where we've got into, because we need to go through other process, procurement process and other things. That's what we are going through now. So we are giving ourselves, by June, July, the construction of the building will start. And the companies that we've selected through the expression of interest will present their proposals. And like I said, it's going to be a service port. GPHA will become a landlord only. GPHA will not take part in the operation of the Keta port. That is where we are as far as the Keta port issue is concerned. Last but not the least, you asked of Ayalolo. Let me put it on record. So far as the Ayalolo operation is concerned, the model that the bank, the World Bank and other development partners put in place for the operation of Ayalolo is that Minister of Transport was not going to be responsible for the operation of Ayalolo, and that it is the local government ministry which is supposed to operate Ayalolo. That not to say that we don't have a role to play or we cannot assist, because the infrastructure is in our name, but the operation is in Ministry of Local Government. We had come to conclusion that it is not working. The model is not working. Because like I said, that what happens in the street of London, you know what is happening in the street of Accra. So the development partners, including the two ministries, that's local government and transport, had come to a conclusion that we need to look at the model and see that we need to do some adjustment or amendment to it. So we are now going through the legal regimes to see if it is possible that we will revert to Ministry of Transport for the operation of the Ayalolo buses. But I think that over the years, we have tried to streamline the operation, because we have certain periods in Accra that in terms of personnel loading is lean, and some too become very dense. So the decision is that they'll start in the morning, break in the afternoon, then come back in the evening. So maybe in the afternoon, if you go and you don't see Ayalolo bus, yes, it's true. But maybe they've not communicated enough about the model that they are practicing. And also, what we are trying to look, again, is the road infrastructure that we have in relationship to the operations of Ayalolo. Are they supposed to use the same road in terms of space as other commercial drivers are using? It's also something that the Ministry of Local Government and Roads and Highways are also looking at it in terms of dedicated bus lanes, if it is possible. Already our roads are not enough for us. Why are we going to dedicate a certain portion of the road to about 50 or 100 cars, and the whole day there will not be anything on it? That is what other proponents are also opposing. But we are looking at it, because we are not reinventing any wheel. It's been done somewhere. We cannot allow indiscipline to impede our progress. So if it is hard decisions that we need to take, we will take them. But once again, we also need the support of the media again. When some of these decisions are taken, please, we need to support the public institutions or the authorities who are implementing some of these matters. I think I've made an attempt of trying to answer all the questions put to me. If there's anything left, please remind me. I will do so. Thank you very much. I think I've answered it. Oh, what did you say about Metro Mall that I have not answered? All over the world, public transport are subsidized by government. I don't think that you operate public transport just to get profit. You operate public transport just to alleviate some of this hardship for our people. When President Kufuor started the operation of Metro Mars, was to make sure that we cater for the downtrodden people. That's the purpose of Metro Mars. So it's a responsibility of government to make sure that we renew the fleet, as well as create a conducive atmosphere or environment for the operation of Metro Mars. That not to say that they should run at loss. We are also looking at their operations. I think that we inherited a lot of challenges, a lot of issues in terms of debt, in terms of old fleet. We needed to replace some of them. We needed to go through some of these matters. And I think that so far we have arrangement for 100 buses, 50 had come. We are also trying to look at the modeling and see that if we can co-opt some of the private sector people who will come with technology and buses, whilst we look at the operational activities, and to see that if we can break even for them to have the comfort of their investment and also for us to provide a service for our people. So we are looking at the models, and I think that so far MMT, because of the issue of over 8 buses that we inherited about 600 over 8 buses. Yes, we met about 500 and then 970 or something. About 750 were all over age. They have been on the road for more than 15 years. And you cannot continue to operate or be profitable so far as public transport system is concerned when the bus has been on the road for more than 15 years. We know wear and tear, depreciation alone, the running costs so high that whatever you make, you have to go back to repair those buses and make sure that. So I think that we took a decision to auction some of these old buses to make sure that we have about, now I think we have about effectively 350 or 400, 350 buses on the road that we can see that you can take it to the next 3 years. But we are not relaxing. We are in the process of acquiring more buses so that Metro Mass can go to my village and your village. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. That brings us to the end of today's press briefing. Honorable Minister, Honorable Deputy Minister, our distinguished invited guests, the press, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for making time this morning to join us for this very important exercise. And to the press, as always, I count on you to spread the good news and let Ghanaians know that a lot is happening, especially in the transport sector. And government will always need their cooperation and support for us to successfully implement most of the projects that Honorable Minister has already mentioned. Thank you so much and good morning.
Now, oh, me.
Obek Hanokre. Susu Sang Pine, Pia Wanton and Bia, a man in quite baby.
Mommy, you first can see about Kotoso. Pepoga, send me sick from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shade and let me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Exchange waiting in so ye. Unbeatable. We should make promo code Dr. Like Menya £10, $10, and $10 Canadian dollars for the first transaction. With this Sunday cigar coffee, download to Lemonade Finance.
tell me
feel
about?
like having a child is more heavy than a marriage.
Having a child?
Yeah, having a child is like it's a responsibility between two people that no matter what you have to uphold, you know, more than holding a marriage together.
Welcome back, guys. This is part 2 of my conversation with One Love the Kobolo. You don't need no introduction. We were talking about how he actually, you know, was a pro-gay activist and, you know, doing all the things needed to promote the gay rights. We wanted to understand, and also he spoke a bit about his music. Today, we are talking about his family and other questions. You know, this man is actually someone who has a name in the media industry. I'm looking at One Love now, he's looking into the skies. But anyways, I still need to finish my intro. He is someone who has too many stories to tell. I think I have to keep it as that. And he's going to tell us the details. And now, my name is Doreen Abanma Abaya. One Love.
Yes, Doreen.
Why are you smiling like that?
No, I was listening to you and I was thinking about the details and I was...
Yeah, the details.
Yeah, I was just listening to you.
Because our last conversation actually ended with you, you know, talking about your daughter being infatuated about another girl.
Yeah, who knows? You know, like, so she says she likes this girl and of course it's innocent love.
Yeah.
I don't know what goes on in Denmark society at what age.
Oh, that daughter's in Denmark.
Yeah.
Because we actually can keep tabs of the number of children. So now let me ask you, One Love, in 2019, it was reported that you had 8 children from 5 different women. In 2023, how many children do you have with how many women?
Wow, I haven't been having children. It's just 10 now. But
you said I haven't been having children.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about it. It's just 10. So I guess it's COVID.
10 now. COVID stopped you.
It slowed me a bit.
Hey.
Yeah.
How many children do you want to have?
I don't want to have any children.
Hey. Any more?
Not anymore. I never wanted to. I never planned to have children.
You just decided to, you know.
No, I didn't decide. I mean, some of my children later, my first couple of children were just like, you know, they came. And then some of them later were planned.
Yeah.
And, you know, and it will keep going like that. Some will be planned, some will not be planned. Yeah.
How old is your oldest child? And is it a boy or a girl?
Obi will be turning 17.
Whoa.
In April.
A boy or a girl?
Obi is a boy.
Oh, wow. Very soon, gonna be of legal age.
But my oldest child is actually 18. She's my stepdaughter. But so my third child's mother already had a daughter.
Oh.
When we had our first child together, she had a daughter.
That's Obi.
No, that's a different. No, Obi is the boy, which is turning 17. Yeah. But I have a daughter called Deborah who is 18.
Okay.
Yeah.
One Love, your story, dear. It's really interesting.
Really?
I'm telling you.
It sounds like a normal story of ovaries and sperms and stuff.
Ovaries and sperms. Just, you know, having the babies. And
can you say sperms on TV, on this interview?
Can we say it on TV?
Because one of your producers said you can't say toilet.
Did you hear him? He said
if you slur it, it's fine.
Yeah, if you say it in the English, you know, toilet.
Yeah, oh, that's nice.
We said toilet. We didn't
it
say
even changes the smell.
Yeah. Hey.
The slang changes the smell. If you go somewhere it's like nasty, like let's say somewhere where it's a dump site, like Pantan or somewhere, and say, look at all this baller, you'll be hearing the scent in your head. Boom, 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 boom. You say, oh my God, is this baller? Yeah, it's baller. And the scent will be slim.
The scent is actually mild with that way, say baller.
Baller.
Anyway, we're baller. Me and One Love, we are balling here. Not the baller that you spoke about. We're balling here. And One Love, are you currently in a relationship?
With what?
With a human being.
What type? I think I'm in a relationship with every kind of... Like, I mean, I think you should ask the question more specifically.
Are you in a relationship with a woman?
What kind of relationship?
A serious one that can lead to marriage.
No. Marriage is not. When you say marriage, what kind of marriage? You mean like wedding and those things?
Yeah, wedding.
No.
You know, that's the only one I know actually. Unless maybe you have other ones you can tell me about.
I feel like having a child is more heavy than a marriage.
Having a child?
Yeah, having a child is like it's a responsibility between two people that no matter what you have to uphold, you know, more than holding a marriage together. Like, hey, we married in front of 100 people, oh, we can't stop. Like, having a child, that kind of marriage is superior to me than a wedding.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So that means you'll never get married?
Not in that. I'm actually already married. I married for green card in America in 2006, but I never applied. I just left America and came. So I'm still legally married in America. But, yeah, it's just, yeah. In Kratasem. Yeah.
So it was just for the papers, but not like, you know, you had a traditional wedding here in Ghana. Because I know, even talking about the traditional wedding and the wedding thing, you're not even interested. Your face actually tells me everything, and you already mentioned it. But I just wanted to understand if One Love will ever get married.
Like I said, I'm already married, though.
Yeah, but that one was from Kratasem. You know, that one, people do it all the time.
No, I don't. Not in the, I think, in the way you are saying, and I don't think I'll dedicate my life to like some one person and be like, hey, me and you, this is like.
You can never do it.
I can't. It doesn't feel normal to me.
Really?
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't feel normal.
It feels unnatural.
It feels unnatural to be dedicated to one person.
Yeah, it feels very unnatural. It's like an eggs and basket thing.
Hey. How did that come in? Eggs and
like
basket?
You don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Oh.
So your emotional, your feelings, your dreams, you can't store it all on one hard drive.
Why? Were you had before?
Maybe I was when I was a child, but I've never been in a relationship before, like since I was a teenager, which has worried me. You know, I've trained myself to not go deep.
But what if you meet one person that actually wins your heart?
I don't know what will happen that one day, but what will happen, but I don't know.
Will happen?
I can't imagine it.
Hey!
I can't. I can't imagine like I'm somewhere and I can't breathe or sleep or eat unless I see someone. I can't imagine it.
Then what message do you have for all those who are in love with, you know, one woman? Because you can't see yourself like that.
Maybe they're happy, then I'm happy for them. But I can't.
But it's never one love. Lie.
And I know a lot of people who are also like that because your vibe attracts your tribe, you know? So I have friends that come over that are in different relationships and so on, and I have very interesting encounters with people in my life because of the path I've chosen. And according to the Bible and stuff, I'll surely be crossing my leg somewhere in hell when I'm done. Oh, I'm joking, but yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah.
So, you know, we all know One Love Kobolo, what you're up to, who the real guy is, because he's a non, you know, how do I put it? You don't care about anything. You live your free life.
I would not have baffed. If I didn't care, I would have come here without bathing.
Well, love, that's one of the basic things.
When I got down, I said I put water in my hair. So I care about things.
You care about the little things that, you know, people
there are
find
things
trivial.
I care about a lot of things, but you know.
Well, I was actually trying to connect it to something, but you decided to stop me. I care about things. Of course I don't. But anyways, so One Love. What's one very shocking thing, you know? Oh, I know you don't care about a lot of things.
Yeah.
But what's one very shocking thing you've heard, like a rumor about you? You're like, who sat down to cook this up? How can they even say that about me? And
rumor.
Yeah. You know it's not true, but it's out there. Like One Love this, One Love has done that.
I mean, before I started smoking, people used to think I smoked all the time.
And how long ago did you start smoking, if I may ask?
4 or 5 years, I think.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say it's recent, but it's...
Yeah, but for a long time. But I can't think of any rumors like that. I don't think people make up things about me because I think that my fact is stranger than the fiction they can create.
What do you mean by that?
The fact of my life, the reality is stranger than the stories people can create about me.
That means your life is already open. So what else have you got to say?
Yeah.
It's already out there.
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Quite interesting. And would you say you're somebody who can be easily provoked if somebody actually tries to trigger you?
Yeah, it depends on what tool they are using to do the provocation.
Can you give me an example of some things that can actually trigger you? Because we know you as a very carefree person.
Yeah, I mean, if somebody comes in here and they're trying to like bother me or like destabilize my emotion or whatever, like trying to just be an idiot, I would just like chill till I find my way out. Like, I'm not into that. But if they're bothering someone else, I become defensive quicker. Yeah. Like, what is this? What are you doing? Leave the person alone.
And have there been any instance where, you know, it happened and you had to go all out and go crazy on the person?
Yeah, I once had to fight a security team in Osu because I was going backstage to an event with a friend and who wanted to see Panji Anoff, who was backstage with J.W. Ambule and a few people. And at the security line, I was like, oh, I'm with this person, we're going backstage. And the security was like, no, I'm not going to let them come backstage because they could be an armed robber. And I was like, this is somebody I know, and why am I bringing an armed robber backstage? Like, what kind of statement? Yeah, he doesn't care, but if I don't move from there, he's going to push all of us away. And that just made me like lose my mind. Yeah, so.
What did you do?
A few things.
Can you share with us? Because this one laugh.
It was giddy giddy. Let's just say there was
giddy giddy.
Yeah, and that was it. So when people I'm with are being like, you know, picked on or something, I just feel like it's so unnecessary.
Right.
And I react to that more than to myself when it's directed to me.
That means you feel the pain of others more than you do. Actually.
No, I do feel mine, but I know how to logically, you know, like
tune off,
cancel what is happening around me to just like think about the person and be like, maybe this person is going through something, and just like, you know, come more from an empathetic place. So just like I'm feeling for the person which is being oppressed, in a situation where somebody is being oppressive to me, I feel it's just because they are being oppressed by something in their life, right? So why should I also like join in their oppression if I can just meander out of it?
Well, that will bring me to my final question.
Which is? Yours. I'm losing. I'm losing.
What do you think about the current state of the economy, Ghana?
I think that like all Ghanaian youths and people who are youthful in the mind, you can be 70 and still be a youth, should just come together and plan to steal the money from all the banks, like the banks connected to the governments, go and rob all of them and share the money in Ghana. That's what I feel, because the banks are stealing. They're stealing from us. And
why did they rob you?
They are stealing from us. Like, let me just say that. They just, I mean, it's robbery. Like, you send a certain amount of money in a certain direction, a transaction, they take such a huge, and I'm not talking about e-levy or something. I'm talking about exchange rates and different things.
But then about the government.
And of course, people's pensions and all that. Come on. Like, people are going through a lot. And I feel like because our food tastes good, we don't like rebel. We don't riot. Because if you have, no matter how angry you are thinking like, Charlie, there's some chop bar. By this time, Charlie, they finish pounding the fufu. Then you cool down, you know. So until we run out of salt and pakushito and stuff, I think that we'll still allow them to trample on our lives.
Right.
Years.
But before we go, can you give me some of your songs? You know, just
like from my pockets or what?
No, not give me like sing something.
I'm not like romantic like that, and I'm also hungry. Let me see, what can I do?
Which one can you actually give us? You know, serenade us with something really
Serenade?
nice. Yeah, serenade us with something.
If I had a guitar or something, I would do that.
But at least you have some of your songs on your 13, you know, album. You know, someone.
Maybe I'll do a rap, but I have to get my things. I didn't want to say I'm going to get my balls until you saw the balls, so that you won't be confused.
Not the balls you're thinking about. These
yeah,
are the
people
balls.
would have thought about any other balls, you know, basketball, golf balls.
Today you actually tried to bring out the worst in me, but I'm not gonna.
Oh really? I tried.
Yeah, you tried.
Ping pong balls. Chilinsa balls. There's many balls.
Too many balls.
But these are noisy balls called kushka.
Kushka.
Yeah. So this song is called Chop Time. It's just a fun song to rap, and I feel like it's just me trying to just capture and share some Ghanaianisms or Ghanaian energy.
Yeah.
Right? Chop time, no friends. Dinky diggy dinky dinky. About 10, there 10. Dinky diggy. September born, no go do me April fool. Promoters try use me like some tool. Have a look at the beta, so I say come cool. Dive in there, crowd like a swimming pool. Ow, no can do. What a chimpanzee can do, baboon can do. But a panda can't feed a baboon bamboo. Chewing the cat from media, that will do. You know better than me cause you brush your teeth with shampoo. Kaka-doo-doo, Scooby-Dooby-Doo and do the do. Oh, by the way, I do like your hairdo. I don't feel good, but can you be my boo? Oh. But I love you, your beautiful face and your review. No go make a word the phone, but keep the preview. Chop time.
No friends.
No friends. About 10, 10, 10. Chop time. No friends. About 10, 10. Same MC who brought you Chinese coke 20. Ever seen a Japanese eating ice cream cake? Okay. You be there. You don't know what's going on over here. The government just wants you to fear. V for vendetta will appear. Oh my, oh dear. Don't stand in the road like some deer. Catch them like rhinoceros. Bite like hippopotamus. Famous, yes, where is my money? Busy bee, where is your honey? Beat me like slave master. Me, I won't reach my grave faster. Pastor, am I sinning? Jesus, merry-go-round, are we spending time? No friend. Yeah.
What's the part of it?
I was crumpling the bubbles in my neck. You know, sometimes like you get these bubbles.
Well, I don't want to do mine because you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Guys, I don't know. One Love has this interesting way of actually making you smile and
Oh,
stuff.
for real?
Yeah. You do.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
I'm a smile inducer.
He has a way of making you smile and stop, and this conversation has been interesting. Well, One Love just induced me. He just said it right now. He makes me smile like, you know, I don't have my head in the right place. And I'm really grateful I had him on set today. Thank you so much, One Love.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, because I'm really, you know, I'm really humbled for this experience and the music that you serenaded us with.
Oh.
And before anything else, guys, my name is Doreen Abanama Abaya. This is Talkatainment. See you next time.
Now, oh, me.
Obek Kanokre. Susu San Quine, be a want on and be a man in quite baby.
Mommy, you basically see about Kotoso. People got sending me sick from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shit and let me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Extinguishing in so ye. Unbeatable. We should me promo code Dr. Like Nenya £10, $10 and $10 for the first transaction. What is send this guy coffee? Download to Lemonade Finance.
Mr. Speaker, while I recognize that death is an inevitable appointment for all men, the exiting of men of noble stature like my late predecessor can be very difficult to assimilate. As a member of Parliament, the Honorable Dr. Anthony Akutosei was a tireless advocate for his constituents, working hard to address their concerns and improve their quality of life. He was a man of great vision and purpose who brought passion, dedication, and a deep sense of responsibility to his work. Talking about Dr. Akutosei's statute and clout in politics, he was a man whom many revered across the political divide. The degree of respect and recognition which were extended to him were valid testimonies of his deep sense of professionalism, admirable work ethics, depth of knowledge, unparalleled humility, and affable nature. Mr. Speaker, before I had the opportunity to represent the noble people of Otafo, Uncle Tony, as we sometimes affectionately called him, was an inspiring role model whose ethics, virtues, and principles influenced my political grooming and overall growth. Like the many others he mentored and inspired, I owe him endless vows of gratitude. His kind-hearted nature, his impact in our beloved constituency, Old Tafu constituency, and his weight in financial discourse in both academia and public service can also not be ignored. On behalf of Old Tafu constituency, where he served for 16 remarkable years, I would like to extend our deepest condolences to his family and all his loved ones. We share in their grief, and our thoughts and prayers are with them in these very trying times. As we mourn the passing of an illustrious son of the soil, let us take comfort in the knowledge that his legacy of service of our country will live on for many generations to come. His dedication, commitment, and passion for public service will continue to inspire us all as we work to build a better and brighter future for Ghana. May the soul of Dr. Anthony Akutosei rest in perfect peace.
Mr. Speaker, I visited Dr. Anthony Akutosei on Sunday before his passing on the Monday. I was with him. We watched the Fulham-Manchester United game together. Whilst with him, I realized he wasn't too comfortable, so the nurses at home were called to come and assist one way or the other. So I made an intervention, spoke with his senior brother, and we invited a doctor home who came to take some vital statistics of his. And he was the same person who walked upstairs, went with the doctor, did everything, and he was fine. Doctor recommended some tests to be done. He took him to Uracare the next morning, on Monday to undertake some tests, only to be called around 4 p.m. that he's passed. It was a very devastating blow. A great sportsman, an economist, a politician who came to serve this country very well, a very selfless politician at start. He was a man of steel. He did work very well as a ranking member on finance for 8 years. And he contributed his quota to the country. And I believe, I'm very sad that I'm making this comment, but he gave opportunities to all the young people on the committee, including Dr. Marcus Ibeyeboa, Honorable Jaja, Honorable Adongo were his friends. They ate, drank, and did a lot of things together, which I cannot talk about in this sad moment.
This is a very sad and very sorrowful moment for all of us, especially those of us who came to this house in the same year with him. He was a very nice gentleman by all standards. Our colleague, the late Honorable Dr. Akuto said, I remember very well, during the President Kufuor administration before he came to this house. And when he came to the house, even as a first timer, the Speaker, he was also the Minister of State and the Minister of Finance, assisting our other colleague, then the late Honorable Bawuredu. And the Speaker, he's got the opportunity to sit on both sides of the House. And you could see his experience was very immense. You know, it's very much easier when you're in opposition. All you try to do is just criticize and sometimes obstruct. But our colleague, having been in government during President Kufuor, when we were in opposition, and has faced a lot of challenges with opposition, then we in opposition. When we came into government and he became the ranking on finance, I'm sure my colleague, Honorable Honorable Aveji, James Aveji, our minority leader, Honorable Atufosi, and many others who attest to the fact that he was very, very useful to this house. Yes, he raised his objection very strongly. He will point out where he thinks things are not right very, very strongly. But he understood that beyond all this, we need to have the wheel of government running. And we need to get the house equally running. And I must say, he was very, very hardworking.
Yeah, I recall the occasions when I'd gone to see Terry and I'd asked for him to do some magic, literally. Make sure that some money came from wherever. And he would say to me, Keta, but we don't have a lot of money for this purpose. No, Terry, you make sure that there is something that could be given. The pictorial framework I'm looking at now is when he would turn to the budget statement, to the book, and I was telling the now minority leader how Dr. Kutu used to do it, because I didn't understand what it was. I didn't even appreciate that the table at the back of the budget statement actually showed the specific numbers and the various allocations. So Dr. Kutu would always go to the back there with the Speaker, run through a few things and find some money from there. Mr. Speaker, I would subsequently be telling Professor Jambafo that he shouldn't be just sitting in the when I came in to ask for some money. He should be looking at the back of the document, because that's where Dr. Kutu told me the money was. So you should look there, Mr. Speaker, get me some money. So he was a good man. And let me tell you one incident that took place between the two of us. And that actually goes for everyone in this house. Those who gossip, they must know the system of gossiping. They must know how they deal with issues. I'd heard about a little gossip. It goes for everybody. It had to do with him. It was a gossip. I went straight to him. I am so careful whenever I make any point, I remember specifically the occasion where I divulge anything. So anything that happens on the back of that, I know exactly where the footprint is. Because so I told him this. Then subsequently, somebody came to me and attacked me. Look, you have been gossiping and you have been saying ABCD about this person and that person and this person, and you have been saying this about me. Mr. Speaker, immediately I dropped the person in their track and said to them, follow me. They didn't know where we were going, but they were calm, casual. So I walked them straight to the office of Dr. Koto in the Parliament House here and said to them, this is the person who gave you this information. Both of them broke into laughter. They couldn't believe it. It was, how do you know that he was the person who told me? I said, he's the one human being on earth that I have made this statement to. It couldn't have come from anywhere else. He had to agree, yes, I told this person about this matter. And we settled the matter there and then. He was a very good person. He knew his job. He didn't take his friends for granted. He didn't take life lightly. Of course, life wasn't all that for him. Work and work and work. He enjoyed himself.
I was always looking forward to Dr. Koto's contribution to the budget. You would learn from him. It was a delight to listen to him analyze the budget even from then. But there's one thing which, as has been confirmed by the Honorable Muntaka, that in spite of our differences, governance must go on. That was always his position. I recall when there was a bill about Bank of Ghana financing government, and we on this side were arguing that it should be zero. He was out of the chamber. When he came in, he asked us why we were voting against the policy. We said, oh, government must generate a revenue. And he pointed us to the American Central Bank, that when their banks failed, did the government not intervene? If there was no policy supporting that, could they have done that? So we should make room when there's a failure for the central government to come in and support the country. Quickly, we all changed our minds and supported the government policy. So I think we have a lot to learn from our late brother, Honorable Koto, about, in the end, our differences notwithstanding, we want government to succeed and government to go on. There's something somebody said, that he said he would not contest again because his wife is not well. Incidentally, many of us dedicate our entire life to the work here and to our constituency. Our families suffer for the things and the achievements that we tout, that we have achieved. Indeed, those achievements are at the expense of our families, our wives and children. And it's a pity that he lost his wife, and within a short period after, he has also lost his wife. Nobody rewards you for that. Finally, everybody is talking about how he relates, but there's also another example of some of the things that I think personally, that we tend to be too mean to one another. As politicians, as MPs, we tend to be mean to one another. Probably what has happened this week. The MP we have lost just the morning, the night before he was with us, the following morning he could not talk, and soon after he's gone. if there was anything anybody else could have done for him at that moment, we would run to. But the night before, if we had asked for assistance, we probably may not have given him attention. That's how mean we are.
The waterfall actually is a combination of 3 running streams, of which the main source is Ote.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is the stream that supplies the majority of the water falling.
The Ote.
Yes.
Climbing down 259 steps to experience a Mejofe canopy walkway, we now have about 20 more steps down and a few others up to enjoy the Ote waterfalls.
Series here in the Volta region. This is People and Places, and we are doing this in collaboration with the Volta Regional Tourism Authority on their campaign Visit Volta, Experience Volta and Share Volta. Today we are at the Ote Waterfalls and we'll get you the details in a bit. Our tour guide is all the way up there, so we'll get to meeting him and continue with the conversation. My name is Wanda Amihegan.
The water was so cool that we dropped bottles of water which had become too hot to drink in it when we got here. And within a space of 15 minutes, they were cool enough for us to drink. I'm going to take my shoes off and then dip my feet in the water while we have the rest of the conversation.
How is it?
It's very cold, but it's refreshing. Okay.
Hope you like it.
Yeah.
What's your phone?
Okay, sure. So, Daniel, please, let's talk the rest of the conversation.
Yeah.
You have to
Ready.
join me here, if you don't mind.
I
You can
have
sit
to
here.
sit?
Yes.
Okay.
So, this waterfall, was it discovered? Or it just happened that people started coming here?
It was discovered.
Okay, by who?
There is this hunter that discovered it, and he's called Zando.
Zando.
Yes. On one of his hunting expeditions, he happened to shoot at an animal that didn't die immediately, and then tried to run away from him, but it fell this way. So he traced it down this end, and then he find the waterfall here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Was he an inhabitant of
Yes,
Papatino?
a native of this community.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It sounds a little like the Lake Bosuntree story. Yeah, but that's an interesting story. So the discoverer of this place is Zando.
Zando.
Okay. Okay. Nice.
And so the waterfall actually is a combination of 3 running streams, of which the main source is Ote.
Yeah.
Yes, and that is the stream that supplies the majority of the water falling.
The Ote.
Yes, but yes, Ote.
So where
stream.
does it come from?
Well,
What's the source
the water bodies we have here are all spring waters.
Oh, okay.
Yes, because of the height, there's no other running up here. So there are spring waters. That is why at the dry season, the water level reduces. Yes, because it can't spring out very fast. But in the rainy season, it springs out more. Yes. That is why the falls is a seasonal fall. It falls plenty at the rainy season. Yes.
And then it goes dry in the dry season.
In the dry season, but not entirely.
So there's always some amount of
There
water.
is always some amount. You are lucky. Yesterday we had a rainfall.
That's why
That
it's
is why
flowing a bit.
it is even this much.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then we have a lower and upper fall. Yes.
I'm
So
assuming this is the upper one.
This is the upper one. So this water flows again down to the lower one. Yes, which we may not be able to do today. So we'll skip it.
Some other time when we come here.
Yes.
But people actually go down there, right?
Yes, they do. They
How
do go down
easy is
there.
it compared to this
Well,
place?
if you want to do both the upper and the lower, then it should take you the whole day.
Wow.
Yes.
The whole day, as in from morning.
From morning to maybe somewhere in the afternoon.
Wow.
Yes. Because the descendings and ascendings are not easy. Yes. You have also to eat so much and have
Gain your
energy.
strength.
You have to be prepared for it.
Wow.
Yes.
So you can say it's only for the very strong.
Very strong, but the fainted can also do gradually.
I like that. I like that. So the faint-hearted like us, I mean, those who cannot go all the way.
Yes.
Daniel says you can still try it. I mean, but gradually.
gradually.
So you can still give it a try. There's no harm in trying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, I would say it's a very nice place. You can also swim, but unfortunately, because of the rocky nature of the place, you couldn't make deep pools. Okay. Yeah, that is why sometimes at the rainy season, where we have much of the water, you could only float on it. Okay. Yes, or play in it. But from here, you could have natural shower.
So you can just stand under that and then
have your shower. Yes, very refreshing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And these insects in the water, you say they are not harmful, right?
They are not harmful. But whenever they realize the water is muddy at certain points, they run there to make it clean.
Oh.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Right. So how often do people come here?
Well, it's seasonal though, but weekends are free time for visitors.
So yes. People come here more often
during weekends.
And holidays.
And then holidays. Yes, holidays. We've been having so many people. Unlike the past Christmas holidays, there were so many people here. A lot of them. Yes.
I see. So this place is a fantastic place to just come, sit, have some breeze. If you want to snack, you can play music. You can just sit and relax. He also mentioned that you can stand there and just get the water flowing down when the water is a lot, you know. So just try visiting the Ote waterfalls. One more thing, what does Ote mean? Which language is
it? Ote is the name of the stream anyway, but it is derived from our dialect, Sideme, which means Sideme. Yes, okay. Which means it doesn't dry.
Oh. Okay.
So the main word is Oriti. It doesn't dry.
It's also one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Oriti. Which
and
means
then so
it doesn't dry.
It's been what do they call that? Diluted to become Ote.
Ote.
Right.
Yes. Oriti.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's sell the Ote waterfall to Ghanaians. Why should anyone visit Ote waterfall?
In fact, anyone who would want to come here, we would welcome the person. It is not difficult descending down here. Rather, it is welcoming and breathtaking. Yes, you can come, relax, and read your books as well. And feel free, have your shower, you refresh your body. Yeah.
You heard it for yourself. But how much would anyone have to pay, adults and the little ones, if they want to visit this place?
Well, adults are now paying 30 cedis because it's a package now. I should say so. So adults pay 30 cedis. Tertiary students pay 20 cedis. That is those with valid ID cards. And the lower primary schools pay 5 cedis.
Okay. So 30 cedis for adults, 20 cedis for tertiary
students
with an ID card.
Yeah.
And then
10 cedis for second cycle.
Lower, okay.
And 5 cedis for
5 cedis for lower primary.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's it. See, very affordable. I'm sure you can afford it.
Sure.
30 cedis, 20 cedis, 10 cedis, and 5 cedis. So save some money and come and visit this place sometime. I can tell you on authority that you have fun. So it's not just the waterfalls, it's also the experience of descending down to this place. And then the whole canopy walk experience up there. So from down here you can still see the canopy walk up there. So it's a package. Try, make some time and come and visit. But thank you, Daniel, so much for telling us about this place and for making time with people and places.
Thank you so much.
All
Thank you
right.
for coming.
And I'm sure, as always, you also had some fun. We wanted to do more, actually go further down to explore the lower waterfalls and then other caves which were down there, but we were too tired. So at this point, we decided to go back up, and this was something most of us dreaded. We made some stops along the way because some of us were obviously not fit enough to make this journey back at a go. So after all the fun and adventure, we finally made it to the top. And I'm so glad that you could do this together with us. I, for certain, had a lot of fun. So you should try to make some time and come here to experience the Ote waterfalls for yourself. This is People and Places. My name is Wanda Amihagan, and thank you for joining us. See you next time.
Now, oh, me.
Obek Kanokre. Susu sang pine, Pia want to Nambia, a man in quite baby.
Mommy, you first can see about Kotoso. Pepoga, send me sick from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shade and let me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Extinguishing in so ye unbeatable. We should make promo code Dr. Like £10, $10 and $10 Canadian for the first transaction. What is send this guy download to Lemonade Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I read a joint statement by my good self and the Honorable Roxy Nelson, the Fiamako, calling on the University of Ghana to respect the ruling of the court and reinstate continuing students of the Commonwealth Hall. Mr. Speaker, I, Dr. Clement Abbas Apak, Member of Parliament for Butsa South, read this statement on behalf of the alumni of Commonwealth Hall, University of Ghana, who are members of this Parliament of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, our statement is a call on the University of Ghana to respect
and abide by the law and reinstate continuing students of our legendary hall, also known as Vandal City. Mr. Speaker, by way of background, the Commonwealth Hall is the most popular hall of the 5 traditional halls of the University of Ghana, and the only all-male of the university. It is the 3rd hall constructed at the university to provide accommodation for students of the school, following the 1st, Legon Hall, and the 2nd, Ekwafu Hall. Commonwealth Hall got its name after Ghana gained independence from Great Britain in 1957, after the first batch of students were admitted into the hall at the beginning of 1956-57 academic year. Our hall was officially named in line with Ghana's admission into the Commonwealth of Nations and was subsequently officially launched in March 1957. Mr. Speaker, the motto of Commonwealth Hall is troop stance, the phrase taken from the quotation from John Donne's Satire 3 poem, a line which reads, quote, "On a huge hill, great and steep, troop stands, and he that would reach her, about must, and about must go," unquote. Members of Commonwealth Hall call ourselves vandals. A vandal in Commonwealth Hall membership terms is an abbreviation that describes the attributes of members of the hall, past, present, and future. Our acronym, VANDAL, stands for vivacious, V, affable, A, neighborly, N, devoted, D, altruistic, A, and L for loyals. Mr. Speaker, we believe that vandalism is a way of life that promotes respect for all without any prejudice, and is the highest form of religion or culture that promotes fairness, equality, freedom, and justice for all. We are known for representing the voices of the voiceless, the marginalized, and the least privileged in society. We pride ourselves with leadership qualities. Mr. Speaker, following the decision by the management of the University of Ghana to remove all continuing students who resided in the Commonwealth Hall and to replace same with freshers and graduate students, some students of the Commonwealth Hall sought redress in court. Mr. Speaker, in the main, in order that justice will be served, the Commercial Division of the High Court on the 6th of January 2023 granted an ex parte application for interlocutory injunction to the students, here referred to as plaintiffs and applicants, and ordered the previous agents, workmen, and all persons working under the instruction to refrain from implementing the decision of the respondents' residence board taken at its meeting held on the 26th of October 2022 in respect of the residential policy affecting continuing students of the Commonwealth Hall for 10 days. The court further ordered the applicants to repeat the application on notice after the expiration of the 10 days. After having heard both parties, following the application on notice by the applicants, the court on the 9th of February 2023 repeated the earlier
reinstating order and added that it was to last until the final determination of the case. Mr. Speaker, the order was an express statement that the status quo prior to the decision made by the respondents' residential board on the 26th of October was to be maintained until the substantive matter was determined. Mr. Speaker, to date, this order has been flagrantly disregarded as though same was not granted and ordered. Since the granting of this order, the management of the University of Ghana have refused to act in accordance with the dictates of the order. The police and other allied security personnel have been employed by the management of the University of Ghana to frustrate the efforts being made by the students to call attention to the management of the university to obey the order of the court and to reinstate them. As an institution of higher learning, and especially as Ghana's foremost university, one could not expect less from the University of Ghana with regards to the discipline where the law so commands. By this statement, Mr. Speaker, we, the alumni of Commonwealth Hall, known popularly as Old Vandals, in the Parliament of Ghana, back calls by associations and individuals who have called on the management of the University of Ghana to heed the decision of the court and to ensure that continuing students who resided in Commonwealth Hall are reinstated to provide them the peace of mind for the academic activities pending the final determination of the case. The continuous refusal of the management of the University of Ghana to reinstate the affected students as ordered by the court is unacceptable, unlawful, and must not be countenanced. Mr. Speaker, we call on you and this August House to join us and all well-meaning Ghanaians to impress upon the University of Ghana to do the needful by respecting the laws of the land.
Now, oh, me.
Obek Kanokre. Susu Sang Pine, Pia Wanton, a man in quite bebre.
Mommy, you first can see my cotoso. Pepoga, send me sick from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shade and let me £10.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted a instant charges. Extinguishing in so ye unbeatable. We should make promo code Dr. Like menya £10, $10, and $10 Canadian dollars for the first transaction. With this send this guy download to Lemonade Finance.
We've always been told to be security conscious, but what measures are we putting in place to ensure that both our lives and properties are secured or safeguarded. Today on BizTech, my guests, Ebenezer Osei-Bonsu and Michael Chum, will tell us what to invest in to safeguard our properties and lives. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
So first off, tell us about Eben Security Services Ventures.
Well, I came out with this idea, I think, about three or 4 years ago when my mom's house was broken into. And the thieves, I mean, they take a lot of stuff away. So I tried to do a bit of research to see what will be what security measures I could put in place to prevent that from happening again. Okay. So after months of research, then I decided to go for solar security alarms. And the main reason why I went for that is, we know here in Ghana, we have a lot of power cuts, doom so. And with this system that I have, it works whether there's light or not. So that's the main advantage over CCTV and the others. So that's the main reason why I decided, after I have done for my mom, and I've seen that it has worked with no fault, then I decided to enter into that business. Okay.
So do you have a team that you work with?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm here now with Michael, who does the installation in Accra. We also have other people who work in Takoradi and Kumasi, but they are not here now. Okay. But so we have Michael with us here now.
Okay, sure. So we'll be speaking to Michael Chum to give us more insight on how this solar system or solar security system works. Hello, Michael.
Hi.
So your boss was saying you are the field man.
Yes.
Tell us how this solar security system works.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, so the solar system, just as the name goes, it uses the solar energy, and it doesn't use hydro, or it doesn't use hydroelectric power. So with the system, we have the solar siren. It comes with sensors, and also we have GSM device, which the GSM also comes in different shapes and different forms, but then does similar works. It has a universal role, all plays, with some kind of differences with some of the GSMs, it uses smoke alarm, others doesn't. So as the interview goes on, we will demonstrate as to how each and every one of them works. And also ESSV, which is Eben Security Systems Ventures, also reducing, just as I've stated earlier, we have the GSM, we have the solar alarm, we have sensors, which it also comes in different forms. We also have window connectors, and with the window connectors, we put it behind your window or your door. Okay. It comes with, it's in two shapes. Where it has a slim magnetic substance, and then it has the setup part, which when paired to the siren, the solar siren, as soon as it separates or an intruder gets in, it pushes or opens the window, it sends a signal to the siren, and then it blows. So as it happens that way, the GSM also comes to play. One will ask, what does the GSM also does?
Exactly.
Good. The GSM comes with a SIM card. Basically, it is also to bridge the gap between the property owner and then the sensors. So with a GSM, it actually calls or tests the property owner, being it a store, being it a house, being it a warehouse, being it school, churches. It only calls the numbers that it also gives room for number inputs. And a GSM, with a GSM, you can input about 4 to 6 contact numbers that when an intruder falls within a range where it is secured, as soon as the siren sounds or alarms, the GSM will phone these numbers that are inputted in it. It will call just as the phone, it will give a phone call, it will ring and then you pick up, it will give an audio message indicating that there is an intruder in the house or at the area where it's being secured.
Okay, so how do the machine detect that there is an intruder? Because anyone can, maybe your sibling can just also come visit you. So how, what's the process like?
Okay, thank you very much. Yes, so the solar alarm system, the whole system comes with an alarm device, which is embedded with a solar panel just for energy generation. It also comes with a sensor and a remote controller, basically. Yes, and also has the GSM attached to it. Now, quickly, I want to walk you through how this whole coordination works for understanding purposes. So let's say that an intruder is in a house or someone has jumped in or unawarely had come to your house or had visited you. So you have to mount the sensors in vantage points. It could be an angle, it could be a corner, it could be any area where you want to secure. You have to mount a sensor which serves as a detection device. And these devices are all paired to the solar siren or the alarm itself, and then also with the GSM. So as soon as the intruder enters the range where the sensors are installed, it will quickly send a signal to the siren to alarm. It will sound. There will be an alarm sound that your neighbors, and even if you are asleep, it's so loud that it will quicken you up. You'll be awake.
Okay, how different is that from the CCTV cameras?
Yes, the solar alarm system is a proactive device. It actually scares, it actually drives the thieves away, because as soon as, even if I was the thief, and then as soon as I enter a house and there is an alarming, quickly I will have to revert, I will have to go back. Obviously, we know that the CCTV, it captures, it records, and you know, we are all in Ghana and we know what is happening. A thief won't come without being prepared. So what if a thief have or has a nose, a face mask on? That makes it difficult for you to identify such a person, and you know, it's also time consuming following up on these cases. So the best thing, and just as my boss said, Mr. Eben, we've had experience of this nature that we have to go through a lot. So it is only best to prevent yourself and prevent or protect your property rather than watching it happen and then running after thieves, which you may even end up not seeing them. So ours is a proactive device that it actually drives them rather than seeing it and then having them destroy your property. What if a life was lost in the process? You have the video, but then you can't replace you can't replace life. So it's only better.
How has business been so far?
Yes, it's a new business. We've been in existence for 4 years. So we have a lot. By the grace of God, business is moving on smoothly. Though it's a new business, we have schools, we have churches, we have a lot of homes, not just in Accra, but also in Takoradi. We have also clients in Kumasi that we are hoping and praying that the people of Ghana will hold on to the message and then they will buy into that.
So it means that your target markets are the school, the churches, or which people are your target market?
We've targeted any kind of property. We have sports. For example, in Abliukuma, we have a client there, or we have a customer who has secured a sport. So anything at all that you want to protect, anything that has to do with safety and protection, ESSV is there for you. Yeah, exactly. So we are good, and then we are giving Ghanaians actually the best device that they will never regret having it. Yeah.
Okay. So you heard it from Michael, but we are going for a quick break. When we come back, he will tell us about the installation process and how we can maintain this device. Stay tuned. Welcome back from that break, and Michael is going to show us some of the products and then tell us how it works. So Michael.
Yeah, thank you very much. So up there, you see, this is how the siren looks like.
Okay.
We have this type and other ones. And here, I have a sample of the sensor.
The sensor.
Yes, and on the wall, you can also see another type. But it all functions the same.
Okay.
Equally, we have a 3-in-1. This is it's a combine of a sensor, an alarm, and also the panel, the siren actually. So this is another type. And just as the one you have in your hands, we also have this type. So with this, you don't need any extra sensor, but this uses battery. It uses some kind of battery, which is quite known in the market. The same applies to this, but for this, it's a solar system that produces it. Yeah, and
is this also solar? Or
this is not solar.
System?
This one it uses a battery.
Okay.
Yeah, it uses to be battery AAA kind of type of battery. And in my hand here is a GSM.
Okay.
And this type too, we have a couple of them. We have other ones. So practically, I want to demonstrate how the device works.
Sure.
And just a quick one. Yeah, just a quick one. You can see here, this very house, we have the house owner already had installed security fence.
Okay.
And he also has the CCTV camera too. And again, he has the solar alarm system. So just a quick one. At the top here, we have the sensor there, just at the left corner. And then at the right corner, just behind you, we also have another sensor. That means that this whole range is secured. So all we need to do is to arm the device. By arming, what I mean is that you have to on and activate the sensors.
Okay.
So you can, in my hand is the remote controller. So you just arm it.
Okay.
You see, so as soon as you walk through the range, it will
like
just
you are
sound.
here now.
Exactly, like you are here now. Then you can hear from the siren alarming. And just as it alarms, it will also call the person who owns the house and the numbers, the first number, the second number, just as I had explained earlier. Yes, so basically that is how the system works. In addition to that, we have smoke alarm, and we have smoke detector, we have gas detector as well. So in my hand here is an example of, this is a smoke detector. And we have a dual function device too. It works, it detects both smoke and gas.
Okay.
Yes, so basically these are few of the ones of the devices that we sell and then we install.
So what are the price range?
Okay, so there is a basic kit that goes for 3,400.
Okay.
Yes, and with a basic kit, it comes with sensors, 2 remote controllers, the alarm, the siren actually, and then also the GSM. And also with the GSM, in addition, you have to pay 1,500 for the GSM.
Okay.
Yes, but then the GSM is an optional device. The system can work without the GSM. Likewise, the system also works without the siren system. So what I mean by that is, you just have to, you need a sensor with a remote controller, which will be paired to the GSM. But in that case, in case of light out, the device can work for 4 hours.
Okay.
Minimum of 4 hours. Yeah, that is why we always advise, due to hydro and then doomsday problem we have in Ghana, we advise that we go in for the siren and also the GSM when you want the device to call you as and when an intruder comes in.
Okay, so should I buy the device? Is it free installation or I'd have to pay for it?
No, the installation is not free.
Okay.
But currently we are running on promotions, and for that cause, depending on the interest, listening to the customer, and then the kind of protection or defense the customer wants, we will then decide as to which GSM that the customer wants, what siren, and then what type of sensor that the customer wants. So the installation is not free, but then there is a nice and a very affordable that everyone at all can. All that the person needs to do is to reach out to us.
But is it advisable that since they buy from you, you have to do the installation?
Exactly.
For a smooth
We are
running of
experts.
service?
We are experts. We know how the device behaves. We've studied it. We've been with it for long. We've used it for long, so we can attest, and then we have enough experience. So we do installations. Actually, you contact us, and then you have one-on-one conversation with you. Listen to the situation that you find yourself in, and then you see the best suit for you.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not just a constant package. We have various devices that will serve you on a good cause.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, so, and then we also have we have warranty. We give warranties too. So all this, we have terms and conditions which are very fair to our client and also for the business purposes. So very flexible to trade with us, and then we are willing and ever ready to serve everyone. Yeah.
Okay, so if we buy, or if people want to buy, based on this video they are watching, what means are we going to reach you on?
Okay, so we have a website. Yes, and then the website, I think, should I call on the website? Yeah, so it's essv.websites, as in websites.co.in.
Okay.
So I repeat, E for Eben, as in the first initials of Eben Security Systems Ventures, the first letters of them. So essv.websites.co, which is co.in. Or you can also reach us on 0557-626797. I repeat again, 0557-626797. Yes, so when you log on to our website, and we also have our socials, which we'll give it out, and then you also put it out there.
Okay, so it was great talking to you. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much to you.
And to you watching, don't just use CCTV cameras to protect yourself and your properties. Do make sure that you buy any of these solar systems that we've spoken about on today's edition of BizTech on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Ernestina Sewa Asante. Biz Headlines follows.
Hello and welcome to Biz Headlines on GhanaWeb TV. My name is Na Oyokote. On to our first story on the cedi performance. Now, the local currency has rebounded by 5% against the US dollar in March as government's decision to suspend external debt payments eased demand for greenbacks in the local foreign exchange market. Now, Ghana stopped payments on Eurobonds and other external debts in December, pending an agreement with creditors that is needed to unlock an international monetary fund bailout. Traders said the impact is beginning to filter through to the currency after it lost ground in the first 2 months of the year. Stopping debt servicing means Ghana will not have to pay $516 million in Eurobond coupons over the first half of this year, according to Samuel Parker Langdon, a trader in Accra. This eased the pressure on forex reserves. Parker Langdon said there's also a bias toward a stronger currency as markets see an IMF deal in reach. Now on the Electricity Company of Ghana, the ECG has announced that beginning Monday, March 20, 2023, it shall close down all of its offices across the country as it seeks to embark on a nationwide revenue mobilization revenue. The power distribution company said the exercise, which will last for a 1-month period, will end on Thursday, April 20. According to the ECG, the exercise shall effect operations at its head office, regional and district offices, except for customer service centers, to enable total participation by top management and staff. This massive revenue mobilization exercise will focus on all categories of customers in arrears, including state-owned enterprises, and will be monitored by special teams who apprehend and prosecute customers who attempt to interfere with the exercise and who take illegal self-reconnection after disconnection, it said in a public notice. Managing editor of the Insight newspaper, Kwesi Pratt Jr., has alleged the mistreatment of passengers at the Kotoka International Airport in the name of the government's gold for oil policy. According to the veteran journalist, he has received multiple reports of personal ornaments of passengers, such as rings and bangles, being confiscated by officials at the airport. I've received 3 complaints, and the last one was from a Ghanaian living in China. He had visited the country and was returning to China. When he got to the airport, his wedding ring and a bangle he was wearing were seized. When he raised questions, he was told, "Haven't you heard about the gold for oil policy? We are taking gold to buy oil," he narrated on Tuesday, March 14, during an interview. He stated that the passenger was issued an official document for the seizure of the ornaments. Next on the banking sector, banking consultant Dr. Richmond Etuahine has warned that banks operating in the country could face insolvency if the International Financial Reporting Standards 9 is applied strictly following their participation in the domestic debt exchange program. Already, there are indications that foreign-owned banks, including South Africa-based Standard Bank and First Rand Bank, are looking to recapitalizing their Ghanaian arms, with the former being reported to have set aside 1.5 billion South African rand, approximately $81 million to cover potential losses emanating from the DDEP, according to his analysis contained in a paper titled Assessing the Domestic Debt Exchange Program and Fair Value Accounting Impact on Local Bank Solvency. More than 30%, that is 9 banks out of 23, could go bust if the IFRS 9 is not temporarily suspended. Now back to the power sector. The Vice President of Imani Africa, Bright Simmons, has asserted that private power producers who supply more than 50% of the country's electricity have given government a 3-week ultimatum to start paying its arrears of about $1.5 billion. He noted that the failure of the government to settle its debts will lead to a shortfall in power supply, which will subsequently trigger a power crisis, otherwise known as doomsday, in the country. In a series of tweets cited by GhanaWeb Business, Bright Simmons said the private power producers are, however, opened for discussion with government on the payments plan. The move is to give government some time to pay their due whilst they find lasting solutions to the country's economic crisis. Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia on Wednesday, March 15, commissioned a new office complex for the bulk oil storage and distribution company. The new twin-tower block, built at a cost of $39 million and located at Jowulu, will serve as the permanent office of the state-owned company. Speaking at the commissioning ceremony, Dr. Bawumia described BOST as a perfect example of an effectively run state-owned enterprise, changed its fortune from a debt-riddled company to a profit-making organization under its current management. The Vice President emphasized the critical role of BOST in the economic architecture of Ghana, while citing gains made by the state following the introduction of the gold for oil policy, which has led to a stabilization of petroleum prices as well as easing up the pressure on the country's forex reserve. On to our final story. The government has revealed plans to reintroduce road tolls in the country. This was according to a press release cited by GhanaWeb Business, where the finance minister wrote to the Ministry of Roads and Highways to confirm the approved fees as tolls on roads and bridges will be reintroduced into this country. According to Ken Oforiatta, it is provided under Section 6 of Act 1080 for the minister to amend the schedules of the Act to include or exclude MDAs and or adjust the fees and charges collected by MDCs for their services through a legislative instrument when necessary. Accordingly, this ministry has initiated steps to provide for foundational rates for tolling of roads and highways as part of the amendments of the Act, pending completion of the process to identify the roads and highways to be affected by the reintroduction of the road tolls as stated in the budget. That's all for this week's edition of Biz Headlines on GhanaWeb TV. But log on to www.ghanaweb.com for more news stories. Follow us on all our social media handles. We are at the GhanaWeb on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. On YouTube, we are at the GhanaWeb. Do subscribe. My name is Na Oyukote. Have a lovely weekend.
Now, oh, me.
Obek Kanukre. Susu sang pine, dear one to Nambia, a man in quite baby.
Mommy, you basically see about Kotoso. People got sending me sicker from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shade and left me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted instant charges. Extinguishing in so unbeatable. We should be promo code Dr. Like £10, $10, and $10 Canadian for the first transaction. With this send this download to Lemonade Finance.
Mr. Speaker, I read a joint statement by my good self and the Honorable Roxy Nelson Dafiamapo, calling on the University of Ghana to respect the ruling of the court and reinstate continuing students of the Commonwealth Hall. Mr. Speaker, I, Dr. Clement Abbas Apak, Member of Parliament for Butsa South, read this statement on behalf of the alumni of Commonwealth Hall, University of Ghana, who are members of this Parliament of Ghana. Mr. Speaker, our statement is a call on the University of Ghana to respect and abide by the law and reinstate continuing students of our legendary hall, also known as Vandal City. Mr. Speaker, by way of background, the Commonwealth Hall is the most popular hall of the 5 traditional halls of the University of Ghana.
and the only all-male of the university. It is the third hall constructed at the university to provide accommodation for students of the school, following the first, Legon Hall, and the second, Ekwafu Hall. Commonwealth Hall got its name after Ghana gained independence from Great Britain in 1957, after the first batch of students were admitted into the hall at the beginning of 1956-57 academic year. Our hall was officially named in line with Ghana's admission into the Commonwealth of Nations and was subsequently officially launched in March 1957. Mr. Speaker, the motto of Commonwealth Hall is Troop Stance, the phrase taken from the quotation from John Donne's Satire 3 poem, a line which reads, quote, "On a huge hill, great and steep, troop stands, and he that would reach her, about must, and about must go," unquote. Members of Commonwealth Hall call ourselves vandals. A vandal in Commonwealth Hall membership terms is an abbreviation that describes the attributes of members of the hall, past, present, and future. Our acronym, VANDAL, stands for vivacious, V, affable, A, neighborly, N, devoted, D, altruistic, A, and L for loyals. Mr. Speaker, we believe that vandalism is a way of life that promotes respect for all without any prejudice, and is the highest form of religion or culture that promotes fairness, equality, freedom, and justice for all. We are known for representing the voices of the voiceless, the marginalized, and the least privileged in society. We pride ourselves with leadership qualities. Mr. Speaker, following the decision by the management of the University of Ghana to remove all continuing students who resided in the Commonwealth Hall and to replace same with freshers and graduate students, some students of the Commonwealth Hall sought redress in court. Mr. Speaker, in the main, in order that justice will be served, the Commercial Division of the High Court on the 6th of January 2023 granted an ex parte application for interlocutory injunction to the students, here referred to as plaintiffs and applicants, and ordered the previous agents, workmen, and all persons working under the instruction to refrain from implementing the decision of the respondents' residence board taken at its meeting held on the 26th of October 2022 in respect of the residential policy affecting continuing students of the Commonwealth Hall for 10 days. The court further ordered the applicants to repeat the application on notice after the expiration of the 10 days. After having heard both parties, following the application of notice by the applicants, the court on the 9th of February 2023 repeated the earlier reinstating order and added that it was to last until the final determination of the case. Mr. Speaker, the order was an express statement that the status quo prior to the decision made by the respondents' residential board on the 26th of October was to be maintained
until the substantive matter was determined. Mr. Speaker, to date, this order has been flagrantly disregarded as though same was not granted and ordered. Since the granting of this order, the management of the University of Ghana have refused to act in accordance with the dictates of the order. The police and other allied security personnel have been employed by the management of the University of Ghana to frustrate the efforts being made by the students to call attention to the management of the university to obey the order of the court and to reinstate them. As an institution of higher learning, and especially as Ghana's foremost university, one could not expect less from the University of Ghana with regards to the discipline where the law so commands. By this statement, Mr. Speaker, we, the alumni of Commonwealth Hall, known popularly as Old Vandals, in the Parliament of Ghana, back calls by associations and individuals who have called on the management of the University of Ghana to heed the decision of the court and to ensure that continuing students who resided in Commonwealth Hall are reinstated to provide them the peace of mind for the academic activities pending the final determination of the case. The continuous refusal of the management of the University of Ghana to reinstate the affected students as ordered by the court is unacceptable, unlawful, and must not be countenanced. Mr. Speaker, we call on you and this august House to join us and all well-meaning Ghanaians to impress upon the University of Ghana to do the needful by respecting the laws of the land.
Now, oh, me.
Obek Hanukre. Susu sang pine, Pia want to Nambia, a man in quite bebre.
Mommy, you basically see my cotoso. Pepoga, send me sick from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shade and let me £2. Say you're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted instant charges. Extinguishing in Suya. Unbeatable. We should make promo code Dr. Like £10, $10, and $10 Canadian for the first transaction. With this Sunday cigar, download to Lemonade Finance.
In 2018 across Spain, and it was an eye-opening experience for us having to play music, and man, people in Europe love Ghanaian music.
The
African continent is blessed with some of the greatest music bands, and Ghana can boast of the band Fra. Young, talented instrumentalists and singers making waves with their sound. It's a 360 conversation here on Talkatainment. I am Paula Amabruni. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. You're still watching Talkatainment on GhanaWeb TV. Now, I have here seated on my couch 2 members of Ghanaian band Fra. George and Salom. Salom is the guitar player and George is the band leader and bass player. Yeah. Welcome, guys.
Thank you very much.
Great. It's good to have you. I've been following your progress and I love your music. You guys are doing amazing. And if you haven't checked them out, it's like, you know, you are missing out because they do real authentic African music. But let me find out from you, what do you do? Will you say it's Afrophone, high life? How would you describe your music?
It's Afrofusion.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's dominated strongly by high life. High life is like the bedrock, and we fuse it with various genres: jazz, pop, funk, Afrobeat, you name it.
Okay, so just as your name say, Fra, I feel that energy. Great. So the band, just tell us the genesis. How did Fra come to be? And then the members. Let me start. How many are you in the band?
So the core members of the band are 6. But we have a 7th member who's like an ad hoc member. Yes, we started out in 2015. But prior to that, we had been playing together as friends. We were actually in the same church together. And George and the drummer had been friends since high school. And they met the keyboard player along the line. And I think one day they came to Koforidua, where I lived, for a workshop. They met me over there and we became friends. So around that time I was in Legon and we linked up, exchanged contacts. And when I came back to school, I was on vacation. When I came back to school, I met up with them and I started playing with them. So in 2015, we just came up with the idea of, you know, coming together to form a band and doing our own music, even though we're like playing at pubs and bars by then and doing cover stuff for other artists. So later, the following year in 2016, we decided to brand ourselves properly, and the name we came up was Fra.
Fra.
Yeah, you came up with, yeah.
So what is the real meaning? I know like Fra in Chi, you say it's a mixture.
It means mix.
Mix.
Yes.
Great. You make mention that you started from the church. Yeah, some musicians say, oh, once I was born in my mother's womb, I just knew how to sing. I started singing and all that. But with the church, we have some instrumentalists who say, okay, maybe when you play for the church, you feel like, oh, it's free and all that and all that. What would you say about that, the church where you came from? In churches where maybe they feel like, okay, the instrumentalists, they are part of us, so, you know, no money and all that, they are just playing for the God and all that. How do you balance that? Because I've had a lot of people say it's just free like that, all of that.
Well, I think it depends on your personal arrangements or agreements with the church. Some people play for free and some people play to be paid. So, yeah, I think it's a personal decision.
Okay.
Yeah, some people decide just to play to help the church or, you know, for God. Exactly. And others also see it as a business. But, you know, for us, we play in church just to support the church because we are already okay with the band.
I see.
You understand?
I see.
Yeah.
Well, one thing I observe is that with bands, it looks like it starts with a 4-member. So if somebody that you want to start up a band, what are the core instrumentalists or what do you need on board or in your team to make up a solid band?
I think every band is made up primarily of a drummer, a bass player, and a keyboardist. And usually there's a singer. So at least 4, although I've seen a lot of bands with less members, like 3. It's very common in America and Europe to meet what we call a jazz trio or even a normal trio, where we have just like a drummer, a bass player, and either a keyboardist or a guitar player. There's several examples like that. The most popular one I can think of right now is John Mayer, who has his own trio. He plays the guitar and sings at the same time.
Okay.
He's being backed by a drummer and a bass player. So if one of the members is going to double as a singer, then 3 can do it. But 4, 5, 6, 7, I mean, you can go above that. I remember this man, Fela Kuti, had a team of running into like 40 plus.
Oh.
Yeah, especially when he traveled with a very large team. But to answer your question, there's usually a core in the band, which starts out, in our case, we were 4. And when the band becomes bigger, when you guys gain some traction for yourself, you can definitely build up on that and bring other people on board to beef up the sound.
Okay, okay, great. So you coming together, what has been your greatest inspiration? What is the goal? What is the plan?
So for us now, I mentioned earlier on that we started out as a cover band. Then it got to a point where we were like, now we need to put ourselves out there, come up on stage front and center, and brand ourselves as an artist. Why did we go in this direction? We look back at Ghana's history and we realized that most of Ghana's music from the 80s, 70s, and 60s had been born in band culture. We've had a lot of bands coming up from Ghana and making a big name for themselves out there in the West. The most prominent example being Osibisa.
Yeah.
Ramblers, E.T. Mensa, the African Brothers Band, like so many of them. If your father or mother, if your parents or grandparents had any vinyl records, you would see most of these bands I'm talking about out there. And I think as at now, not many of them are active. I can only think of Pa Thomas and the Kwashibu area band, Ebo Taylor, and a few others. Yeah, but we don't have any current crop of like contemporary bands doing the same thing that they were doing back then, making the same impact that they were making back then. So we decided to take it upon ourselves to be the guinea pigs in this case, and our little experiment has blown up, and you're looking at it right now as FRA.
So proud, because if you're Ghanaian and you experience the quality, the kind of music that you do, the energy, everything, it's crazy. Yeah, George, so what do you think has contributed to Ghana not having like a lot of vibrant bands and all that? What has been the challenge?
I think Selom stated earlier that back in the day, in the 60s and the 70s, when you are asked to mention your favorite artist, you definitely mention the name of a band. But we learned that around the 80s, there was a little bit of political unrest with the coups and the military regimes and all that. And, some of the band's music were political. And, there were curfews and all that, so the bands couldn't perform. So most of the active bands then left Ghana for Nigeria and other African countries and Europe. So that sort of killed the band culture around that time. And fast forward, electronic music started, the beats and all of that. So that has really played a major role in the band culture going extinct at a certain point of time until recently, where the Ebo Taylors and the Pa Thomas's, Jedoublé and Boulé picked it up again.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So you will encourage more young people to, form bands and all. Later we'll talk about the challenges. But I want to find out who are your greatest top 3 music bands. Everybody got an inspiration though.
I think we have to answer this question individually.
Okay, George, how are your case?
Top 3 general?
Yeah.
In general.
In general, wow. Man, definitely Osibisa. Okay. Definitely Osibisa. And then Ebo Taylor and the Salt Fund City Band. The last band.
Okay, I'm going to come back to you. Salam, give me your favorite.
Yeah, so Osibisa is also a favorite with me, not just because of their sound, but even because of their style. I actually love the album covers because they have this very psychedelic feel to them. Looking at the album cover and listening to music totally transports you somewhere else. So Osibisa definitely my top 3. Actually, the band most of us love Osibisa, and I can also talk about a band which I got into recently from Nigeria called the Cavemen, who are also doing very well in Nigeria. I think they're one of the new bands in the scene who have really shaken things up and gathered a following in a very short time. Okay. Yes, and I actually love vintage
stuff. So I'll also talk about Earth, Wind and Fire, which is a band from the US. I don't know if you've listened to any of their songs. After the Lab is Gone, September, and a few other very hits of theirs. Yeah, they're very popular with older people. But I like to revisit stuff like that because sometimes they lend you ideas when you're crafting up with new things, and that is actually something that we also like to do.
Yeah. Inspiration is really key. Now let's talk about music. I've got a lot of your favorite, but then 30 Billion is one of the things I like. Tell us the story. How did it come about? What is the thing behind it?
Okay, so I really wish Virgin, our drummer and composer, was here to give more light on this because he usually comes up with the song ideas.
Okay.
But he came up with the idea for that song. He was like, he wanted us to try something which was more hip, had this Afro beats and poppy vibe, which a lot of youthful people would resonate, would kind of vibe along to. And somehow that phrase 30 billion came into our minds because the video has a song along those lines. Yes, and it's not like we took the phrase from him. We looked at the elements of the song. People who play songs like this like to go out to party, like to rave. So it's usually money, flashy lights, strobe lights, and all that. So we thought of these things and we injected them into the lyrics. That's how come you have a 30 billion over there. So it's a song about money, but money makes the world go round. It's a song about partying.
All right.
As well.
So if you haven't checked out 30 Billion by Fraz, it's a good tune. You should check it out. Then I'm Gone. I love it when musicians take issues that are in society and, hammer, call for change and all that. So your music should have something inside where, and then in I'm Gone, you talk about domestic violence and all that. I've seen musicians here, not just band, talk about issues, even in government, when things are not going to do so, they go talk about that. But then the moment a musician is bold enough to address issues of the society and maybe go after the government, you tag that's partisan. Why is it so? Even though we all have political parties we belong to, but then the moment you want to voice out, you talk about domestic violence, but someone want to talk about politics and the hardship, and then they want to go after you and say you're partisan. How do you feel in that space as a musician, drumming something home, or you just don't want to play the politics part?
Political. I think there are enough artists addressing political.
So you leave it to them.
Oh no. Okay, we can address it. We actually have a song called Doom. So although we didn't explicitly make it like a political song, it's kind of like a satire because we compared the erratic power supply during those days to the affection you receive from a lover who is inconsistent. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, so the same way today you have power, tomorrow you don't. We just liken it to you having a partner being a man or a woman, and it's today their mind day, their mind all day. They kind of playing this she loves me not ping pong thing with you, and we made that into a song. So although it's not explicitly political, we used the situation in Ghana at that time. So you could read some political meaning into that, but we didn't want to go all out for a very good reason. And people hate it when you talk about the truth. People hated Jesus Christ for it. They hated Fela Kuti. He was actually banned from coming to Ghana because he performed, I think, at the Black Star Square, a song called Zombie, and which described the way and manner in which soldiers were being used by the government to bully people, to bully political opponents. They don't have a mind of their own. They're like zombies being given orders. And this instigated unrest among people who were at the concert. And I think there was a riot after that. People went from the concert to Osu area to go and riot, something like that. And the government was not so happy about it. So it was banned from coming to Ghana. Thankfully, Ghana's political climate is much calmer.
Much better now.
Yeah.
Even though sometimes they come after them, but of course.
People are are still, you know, partisan, very partisan in this side of our world. So
later we'll talk about that, because some musicians, they'll campaign when things go bad.
Yeah.
And a whole lot. They say they always go after Sako, they don't go after Samini. But then we've all got choices, you know. Yeah. So I'm still seated with the band Fra, Ghanaian band instrumentalists. I'm here with Salom and George. We're talking music and everything 360 about their band. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we delve more into their music. Welcome back. You're still watching Talkatainment on GhanaWeb TV. I'm here with the band Fra. Would you say that Ghana, the country where you are, they've given you your flowers in terms of the good music that you do, the traction, everything, appreciating on all levels? Would you feel like the flowers have been given?
Well, I think they have, because anytime you come to a Fra concert, the place is always packed, and that wouldn't have been the case if people were not supportive of what we do as a band. But you know, there's always more room for improvement. Like, we would like the media to, you know, throw more light on what's going on in the band side of music. It's like all attention is towards the artists, the people who do solo projects and all of that. But a lot of attention has not yet been given to the band side of things, but there's wonderful things going on at that side of music too. So I think the media should try to also look towards our direction. We have good musicians there, and if you were at our concert, our last concert, which was just 2 weeks ago, you would have been so impressed. We had some of the finest bands in the country perform on that night, and they may not be known down here, but trust me, everyone gave the performance of their lives. That's what we do at our concerts. It's always a jam, involve the audience in everything that we do. So they always go home with a lot of great memories.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Ghana, Shatawale got the Esther movement, and then Stonebwoy being native. So if you are a fan of Fra, how you call yourself?
You're part of the family.
Framen.
Family. So family with Fra.
Hey, just said fraternity, family. Oh, okay. Okay. I love that. But then, currently, is there any artist or band that you wish to partner with, to like collaboration and stuff like that?
Well, I think
I know you have a new project coming out.
Yes, we do. I think we have already collaborated with a couple of bands and artists, but definitely there are more bands we would like to collaborate with. We already have a song with Checheku. He is a Ghanaian musician based in France, and he has a band. He actually introduced us to all these touring circuits and all of that, so he helped us, you know, get our first tour to some extent. So we have a song with him. We also have a song with Senku Live. I don't know if you know of the Senku Live band. They're also an awesome group that plays in Ghana. We have a song with them, but I would definitely like to do something with Wiala.
Oh, Wiala.
Definitely Sound Trophy, probably Jeduble and
Do you have something with Aduma?
Oh
yeah. Aduma was the first, first artist.
Because I love her vibe, and I'm like, you know, when you mention, I'm like,
yeah.
Great.
We do. We have two records with Aduma.
Great.
One on our first album. It's called Ima. Yeah, it's a guy's anthem. They really love it.
You should check out Ima.
Yes, and the second one is Hanimaya, which also features Queen Ayoko. So it features Aduma and Queen Ayoko. That's on our second album.
All right.
Yeah.
Right. So music-wise, you guys are doing great music and all that. But Salom, what would you say has been some of the challenges working together as a band and, you know, selling your music, your sounds to everyone, you know, to the rest of the world?
So the very first one has been the acceptance. You have friends and family, people very close to you, questioning what you are doing. And you know how it feels like when people are around you are questioning what you're doing. It feels like what you're doing, it's not really going to work out. So that constant negativity tends to get into the way. You need to be very mentally strong to look past it and remain focused on what you are doing. So I can reasonably see most of the band members, like the band has been very, very strong in that regard, with that resolve. We've stood our ground and we've been able to overcome that very first block, that is acceptance, people around you questioning what you're doing, whether it's actually going to work out, whether is this marketable, is this going to bring money. Your parents will always ask you, why have you gone to university and dropped your degree and playing in bars and pubs? It doesn't make sense to them. So that was the first hurdle. The second part had to do with finances. So let me start with sponsorship.
Okay.
So when you're going out to look for sponsorship as a band, the same way it's difficult for individuals to view you, the group, as an artist, corporate institutions also have that difficulty because they're used to seeing rappers and solo singers show up on their doorsteps with some kind of like proposition for a partnership and all that. But when we do it, and also coupled with the fact that they think you're not so big, they tend to shy away. And we've had it's quite tough in that department. So far, we've had to be organizing most of our projects with a combination of band contributions, like individual contributions, and also the coffers that the band has, money we've made from doing gigs. Yes, in our when we are not doing our own music, we do cover events for weddings, and yes, weddings and all that. Also for other artists, we've actually worked with quite a number of artists, both gospel and secular. I can mention so many, and we save up that money and put it down and try to organize our own stuff because we don't have any investor or any company stepping in and saying, okay, I'm going to take care of this for you. Nah, it's not really been there. God being so good, I think with our last event, we had Ravens Consultant stepping in, coming on board with us, and I think that they are our very first investor, so to speak. So the finances have been very, very tricky. Very, very, very tricky. But
can imagine.
I think we are at that point where we are, at the peak of the mountain, about to slide down.
It will happen, but it takes someone who really appreciates music to, appreciate sound. So when someone like, oh, they are not, I'm like, you don't know music. You don't appreciate quality sound. You're used to the, less party thing. But if you really feel music, understand, you'll fall in love with Fra. So if we don't have to attend your concert, do you play at sport? How do you play? Or you have to wait for their concert before we see you live in action? You mentioned that you do like weddings and corporate events and stuff.
Yeah, but most of those events are private events, so we can't put it on our pages and all of that. You understand?
Yeah,
someone's
I understand
party, wedding, they are private events. I think besides the main fraternity, we always try to hold another concert, something little, be it in the form of an album launch or something. This year we're actually trying to do another fraternity out of Accra. You understand? Because we've been doing the past editions within Accra. We feel it's time for us to take fraternity out of Accra to another city. So we are still, in discussions with people out there. We don't live there, so we need to partner with people who are actually there.
I think Takoradi will do, because they have like I've been to Takoradi a couple of times, and they also appreciate the sounds and all the things. So Fra, have you toured the world? What are some of the events that you've been to? And of course, you're saying that this year there are plans for it, but then let's talk about tour, selling your music, what you do, the quality to the rest of the people, maybe on the African continent or part of the world.
Okay, so our very first trip together as a band. Prior to that, I think some of the band members had traveled individually, but together as a unit, going out there to go and do our own music was in 2019. We auditioned on a project called Bisabi by an organization called Casa Africa, and this was based on the recommendation of our friend Chicheku, who is very conversant with the touring landscape. So he advised us to get ourselves out there and that people in Europe would love our music. So we applied, we were picked, and we were asked to come and audition out of like 12 bands. Chechiku himself was there, so his band and Fra, we were chosen to go on a tour for 6 weeks in Spain. So that was, I think, our first major breakthrough. We did 9 shows in 9 different locations.
Which year was that? 2019?
In 2019 across Spain, and it was an eye-opening experience for us, having to play music, and man, people in Europe love Ghanaian music. I'm saying this because anytime we went on stage, every single venue we played at, the place was full right before we came on stage. And from the first song to the last song, even though they don't understand the language, the way they relate, the way they look at you, they try to repeat the words. It's funny when you hear Europeans speak Tree.
Can you imagine?
And all, they try to repeat the words, they try to get themselves involved in the music, and it's very encouraging because we saw songs we wrote in our bedrooms, we sat down to piece together being repeated, choruses being sung by our audiences in Europe, and it didn't end there. We came back and we did a showcase in Morocco, in Rabat. That was later that year called Vista for Music. And the feedback from that one too was very phenomenal. And we had a number of bookings from that particular show for the next year, 2020, in summer. That's
okay.
So I think in 2020 we went to Zanzibar. There's a show called, there's a festival called Southeast Abuzara, which is one of the biggest in East Africa. We also performed there, and that show, I just want to go back to Zanzibar just because of that show.
It's written all over your face. Okay.
So, when we came back from Zanzibar, and I think that's when COVID struck. Yeah,
okay.
So we couldn't make it for any of our bookings. Later that year, 2020, we were just indoors.
It was difficult.
Yeah.
2020.
Charlie, it was difficult for all sides.
Yeah, there were no venues doing live music, so we were just indoors.
What we were having was like the virtual thing where people play, then you could go on YouTube and go and watch.
Go and watch. So that's what we did for 2020, and subsequently 2021, we did that again, but.
With a few people in attendance.
Yeah, with a few people in attendance. Yeah, we did that again.
Okay.
Later that year in 2021 was, I said like that year, it's just last year. In 2021, we had the chance to do a festival called Nyege Nyege.
Okay. And that was 2022.
2022, rather.
Yeah, that was last
year. That was last year.
That was last year. I
Yeah.
thought 2021 was last year. I'm so living in the time capsule. So, last year, yes, we did Nyege Nyege in Uganda, and we went there with Adoma.
Yep.
So we did a set with her, and also we did a set as Fra as well. It was somewhere in Itanda Falls on the Nile River.
Yeah, that experience was you had to sleep in tents and all of that.
As earlier we had the conversation, usually people love the band, you have to go outskirts, just somewhere.
There's no network even.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, there's no network.
I see.
We're just off grid.
You had to bath in the river.
Yeah.
Wow. But in Africa, one of my favorite bands, Southeast Soul, would there ever be something with them? Because they are cool too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
never say never. We just need to, build a connection, and it will happen.
All right. But then in Ghana, when we talk about music, a lot of artists say that, okay, sometimes they do amazing, but when it comes to our awards, they are sidelined. But a band, would you say the Ghana Music Awards, the Ghana music industry, you have a safe spot for you, a safe category that you know that, okay, this is it. At the end of the day, we are appreciating bands, we are hammering, and then letting people get the attention that, okay, bands do, not just about the musician. So when you talk about Ghana Music Awards, how would you say?
I don't think so. They usually nominate us under Group of the Year, which I think is too broad.
It's an umbrella term.
Yeah, for the type of music we do, because you are in that same group with groups like Keta.
I know.
It's like, those people are mainstream, so you definitely wouldn't win the award. So I think moving on, award organizers or event organizers should probably do a band category.
Yeah.
Probably band of the year or something. That makes more sense, because when you put us under one umbrella, Group of the Year, it's too broad.
I agree.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. But then before we wrap up, what are the plans for the year 2023?
2023.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I think I was going to mention that we did a showcase in Portugal last year in October, which is called the World Music Expo. WMEX is the biggest meeting of music professionals in the world. They bring people from all over the world. I think about how many people are usually in attendance? Around 3,000 music professionals. So you get to connect with these people. You get to expose yourself to them and sell your brand and your band or your music to them. And a lot of things can come out of that: record deals, bookings for tours, marketing opportunities for your music, having the ability to get you out there on Spotify and Apple Music playlists. So we did WMEX, and the response once again was very good. And out of that, we have some bookings for this year, 2023. So we'll be going back on the road. God willing, in June.
And then maybe later in the year we could have another fraternity.
In another region, as I said.
In our region, great.
Since you missed the last one, you have to travel.
I was working for me though, but it was great talking to you. Then what for the fans? Where can they find you, your music, and also on social media? Where can we connect?
So you can find us on all social media as the Band Fra.
The Band Fra.
Yeah, and it's same on all online music stores. Just search Fra. I think it's Fra there with the exclamation mark. Don't leave it out.
Okay.
FRA with the exclamation mark. You find our music everywhere on YouTube. Yeah, we're everywhere.
Great. So thank you very much, George and Salom, for today's conversation. And I must say, you guys are doing amazing. The first time I heard your sound, I was blown away. I was like, this is good. I love good music too. So I was like, yeah, this is it. So for those of you who are yet to discover Fra, you know you've missed a lot, but you can join the family, yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, great. So thank you very much for doing this with us. We really appreciate you. We're going to support, as you say, the media. So whatever you're going to do, we're going to get on board, because good music, we love to also see that, okay, Ghana is winning on the international platform, whatever. And then when we talk of bands, they're going to chip in Fra, not just like your CBSA, the Ramblers and all that. The new school too are on board. Thank you very much. And to you who did the watching, I must say thank you very much for watching this episode of Talkatainment. I am Paula Amabroni. We'll be back with something bigger. Thanks for watching.
Mommy, you fish can see about Kotoso. Pepoga, send me sick from Lemonade Finance. While Brian did the shade and let me £2.
Lemonade Finance.
Say they're sending money back home from UK, Canada, and now US. I accepted instant charges. Exchange rate in unbeatable. We should make promo code Dr. Like Nenya £10, $10, and $10 Canadian for the first transaction. Would you send this guy a coffee? Download to Lemonade Finance.
there are about 208,000 people who are delegates and who will be voting to elect the flag bearer. How much can you give to each of the 208,000 delegates?
Francis Adeyemo as President of Ghana. First of all, how many ministers do you think Ghana needs if you were president?
I think we should be able to work around a total of 60 ministers.
60?
Yes.
Is that really practical?
Why not? Why not? After all, currently we have 16 regions. So you have 16 regional ministers. Then we have to talk about the sectorial ministries. So you have to look at the various sectors of the ministries. Can you merge that you can still have one minister and maybe 2 or 3 deputy ministers, and you merge the